Welcome back, brothers. I was not expecting to do another Idleon efficiency review so soon, but there was just such a huge outcry for that service that I'm jumping on another one today. So I will leave a link down in the description where you can follow it to the PalmerPlays Discord. Go ahead and drop your Idleon efficiency there, and I will put a check mark as I get to it and as I finish it. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing Ganon's. That's why everyone's laughing at it, because he's obviously crushing the game. I don't think he needs anybody to review his Idleon efficiency. But yep, absolutely, you guys are asking for it, and I'm more than happy to give it to you. So I'm going to jump into today. We have two new submissions. One is going to be for Tokyo. The other one is going to be for Athahahaha. Don't know how to pronounce his name, but hopefully that was pretty close. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so we got Tokyo on the left-hand side, and we got Athahaha over here. I'm going to be going into these blind from now on. That way you guys can get my genuine reactions to it. And it doesn't sound like it's super scripted. So one more time, I'm going to move my Camtasia out of the way. That way I can focus. And I'm going to jump on in here. So first thing, and this is something I usually gloss over, but when I see it, I do want to talk about it. So Tokyo, I'd ask you, brother, why you got two guys doing nothing? It could just be a glitch with Idleon efficiency, but that's definitely something that you don't want to see. So I'm just going to point that out real quick right here, and then we're going to move on. So let's jump into stamps for both of you gentlemen. All right, so left-hand side, kind of new to the game, and then right-hand side, you know, you're progressing pretty well. So let's start over here with Tokyo. Same thing, I would say. There's a lot of easy quest items that you could obtain, and a couple of them just from the drop table, so there's really no issue with coming back. And this could be a good source of focus and progression for your account, is to focus on items from the drop table and put one or two characters there to get the stamp, and at the same time you're getting whatever that material is, and you're leveling up your characters. So there's really no, you know, lose-lose. It's a win-win. And then I would just go off of the quests. So if you haven't unlocked a Maestro yet, which let's just check. Okay, so we don't have a Maestro yet, but it's still quite beneficial for your account to be doing all these quests. That way when you do unlock the luck per quest, you can, you know, you'll obviously have a lot of luck already saved up. So there's a lot of stamps to be had. I would go back to use the Idleon wiki to your benefit. Look up on IE what drop table it falls from, what quest, and then just go through and try to at least obtain, you know, a 75% solution as far as your stamps. So that's all I'm gonna say about your stamps. Let's come on over here, and what do we got going on? Okay, this looks pretty good. Same thing, there's just some items from the, you know, couple drop tables here, more drop tables. So you're doing really good at Haha. I would, brother, just look up the specific drop tables, what drops these, and then, you know, just go ahead and get them. You've obviously got a lot of the good ones, and you're, you know, progressing past level 10. Would love to see you at least level 20 for the really good ones, like the cooked meal stamps. You're probably just waiting on the money, which absolutely understood. Cattle prod, now it's peak gaming. 100% pop into the Discord if you do need somebody with a PRS. I know I have a P character, so more than happy to come out there and help you get that quest done. But this is a really good stamp. Suckafu would honestly just put one of the characters that is probably in the lab doing nothing. I think you had 7 characters in the lab, if I saw that correctly. I'd pop the level up gift on them up until the point where you obtain that. And then 7-figure followers, kind of an end state goal. Probably one of the hardest ones to obtain, but I would go after that one. But other than that, your stamps look awesome. Jump into the forge. Okay. So as I'm looking at it, Tokyo, you've got 6 out of 16 slots upgraded, only using 2 right now. Would love to see you fill these out, even if it's with something like copper or silver, just because you're going to want those at some point, and building up now a good resource pool to be able to dip into later on when you're trying to craft better armor materials, something you really want to go towards. I don't know if you're at the point where you really need platinum gear. You might be trying to make a platinum helmet in order to push, but would really like to see that with, you know, copper, silver, gold. more geared towards where your account is leveled at, I think that'd be more beneficial. But obviously, same thing I say every single time. If you can, just start, chipping away at all these levels to get a maxed forge. Coming over here to Athahaha. Love it. So we see some copper, we see some silver, we see some gold. So you're doing really good with the multi-ore. So you're, at all times getting a solid resource pool. Same thing I told Tokyo. You're only using 4 out of the 10 slots that you've got unlocked. So if you do have those resources and you're pulling them in from your 3D printer, would love to see, the other 6 slots filled with something. That way at all times, you're progressing towards something instead of, you're not making anything right now in those 6 other slots. And, a couple days, couple weeks from now, you're going to be like, oh man, I really wish I had more platinum, more dementia, more void, more copper even. So we'd love to see you fill up these other 6 slots. But other than that, you're doing pretty good. All right, coming into the anvil, and on the left-hand side, the count is still pretty new, so there's a lot of room for improvement. What I don't see is a lot of these characters with 3 slots. So what that tells me is maybe you haven't unlocked the alchemy bubble. That is the first thing I did when I got to World 2, is I unlocked the alchemy bubble that lets you craft 3 items at one time. It's probably one of the best. So I would progress and I would unlock that. And it also means you could possibly have not unlocked the purchase, which is if you purchase it, it's the infinity anvil or something like that. It's been a long time since I bought it. So you either have the bubble or you purchased it. So either way, unlocking the other one would be huge. I'm not gonna, tell you to spend money, but if you can, that's obviously a boon. And then you apparently have 3 characters with unused hammers. So, I mean, that's a pretty simple fix, brother. I would put them, put them where they fit in. I would put the bowman possibly a little further down because they have a higher crafting speed. Tokyo small, same thing, and then Tokyo secret. Since that is a beginner, I'd put him, in thread production just because he's not going to be contributing a whole lot, but still better than, not getting anything. Coming over here, looking pretty good. Total hammer speed 377k. Looking pretty good. I think you've got them spaced out to a good speed, but I'm only noticing one person per item, which means none of your characters have the anvil production bubble, or you haven't bought the upgrade from the pay shop, the gym shop. So either way, I mean, if that's what you're going for, that's perfectly fine. But you are losing out, obviously, on a lot of materials. So, especially for the hunter, the siege breaker, if they're in the lab and they're not actively playing, I don't know what your priority would be, but you're going to want a lot of threads. You're going to want a lot of sockets for late game alchemy, a lot of springy, what thingy-mabobbers, I think is what they're called, when you're looking to make the upgraded Maestro weapon. So you're going to want a lot of these later on in the game. So I'd love to see you, if you're not actively using the character and they're in the lab doing nothing, and you're not using the construction bubble, you're not using the trapping bubble, you're not using the worship bubble, possibly putting the anvil production bubble on them, so you're making gains, because you're going to want a lot of these materials later on, brother. And as it is right now, you're not going to have a lot of them when it comes time to use them. All right, this is my favorite part personally, coming into the alchemy tab. I won't tell you anything you don't know, Tokyo. Obviously, it's going to take you time. It's going to take a while to progress far enough. You're really close to unlocking one of the best bubbles in the game as far as the grind time. So I would 100% keep pushing for that. You do look like you've got a solid balance. You're keeping them, more or less across the board tied, and you're dangerously close to unlocking the damage bubbles, which is huge. That's when you're going to see a lot of progression on your account. So I'd say just keep at it, brother. It's just going to take time. You're going to have to, keep logging in, keep playing, and then once you get these bad boys, it's going to be a lot of pushing to get these leveled up. As far as your Shacklersy and FMJ, same thing I tell everybody. You just got to put in the time. It's better on the front end than the back end, but getting these bad boys leveled up. Same thing for your base stat multipliers. Looking pretty good as far as your wizard and your warrior. Would love to see the same thing with your archer and your soon-to-be journeyman, soon-to-be maestro. So all I'm going to say on that, you're looking pretty good. Let's jump into vials. Okay. So I would say that you're definitely at gold. It's not a huge increase, you know, shop sell price, but comma pause for effect. When you're looking at your shaman, that's going to become a bubo eventually. You're going to want to eventually get all these vials unlocked, at least to level 4. That way you can benefit from the damage. Mimic Krot, you should have unlocked that. So I would definitely try to pop that. You might not be into World 3 just yet, but you should definitely have unlocked Mimic Krot and probably already the crabs. So would love to see you fill out your vial section a little bit more, but other than that, it looks pretty good. I don't think you've hit World 4, so you shouldn't have unlocked sigils anyways. But don't fall into the trap I see a lot of people do where they try to unlock the sigils because they really want boosting the regeneration of all alchemy liquids by whatever %, which is huge, don't get me wrong, but don't let that come at the detriment of not having a pretty outstanding alchemy section. So all I'm going to say on that, let's jump on over here to the right side. Looking pretty good, and you're coming pretty damn close, brother, to finishing your alchemy tab, which is something that you just absolutely love to see. Since you finished the purple cauldron, I would, you know, personally shift the shaman or the shaman or the bubo over to the green cauldron, just because this one right here, the bubble that increases your portal opening speed, absolutely massive. You're going to want it when you start progressing, you know, a little bit more through World 4. So I would shift them over here. I assume I'm going to look at your sigil tab here in a second, and you're going to make a lot of gains there. But I would just fill out the rest of the alchemy tab. You're only missing 4 before really jumping into sigils. You are doing pretty good up here at the top, I would say. You're definitely leveling these up in tandem. I see 4 upgrades. So you've got the gym in the labs, you're getting 4 upgrades, which is perfect. So that's 4 times 3, you know, that's 12 a day free alchemy levels, so you love to see it. So yeah, I would focus a little bit more on these 2 that are kind of falling behind. Let's look at your FMJ. FMJ and Shakracy, both good. I love to see them above level 30. Since you're already above level 30, why don't we go for level 40? And then Britley Spears, Bojack, and what is this, Maddie Stafford? I don't know why it's not popping up. There it is. Looking pretty good. If you want to start seeing those bigger numbers, I'm sitting, I think, around 70s. So whenever you get the chance, I know the materials are starting to become, you know, kind of insane. Just make sure that you're using the right character when you're leveling up the bubbles. So a warrior, a archer, a mage, and I don't know if it actually matters on the Kazam Cauldron because I've used a maestro and I didn't see any kind of difference. Maybe, I don't know, my game's bugged, but make sure you're using the right characters as you're leveling these up, just so you're saving yourself some materials. Oh man, I love coming in here and seeing a beautiful vial tab. This is beautiful. You love to see it. Not a nitpick, but you know, you drop a pickle jar or whatever just so it looks better. No, I mean, nothing to say on here. Obviously, nothing that you can't get with time. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Just as you get the materials, make sure you're trying to level these up. And then, yep, sure enough, sigil tab, you're making a little bit of gains on there. I see you're kind of probably leveling them all up and then putting 1 or 2 characters in here to unlock the maxed progress, which is good. Like I had said earlier, I would probably go a little bit more into the alchemy. Just max it out is something that you don't have to worry about anymore, as opposed to, you know, having to continuously bounce back and forth. So I would level up alchemy all the way, then jump into sigils 100%. Let's jump into World 3. Alright. So same thing. It looks like both of your guys are ready. We got a Divine Knight over here. We got the Squire. You know, go ahead and pop that. Obviously, you guys are probably waiting on getting materials, and this is something that I'm seeing a lot and a lot more. So there is a, don't know the best way to say this, not a consensus, but a lot of people, they come in here and they think it's the best thing to rank up your refinery as much as humanly possible, which sure, eventually that is a great thing, but if you're not actually able to keep up with what the resource requirements is, we're going to run into the same thing that I've seen in every single review I've done, where you don't have the materials in order to keep that running. And not only that, but you're going to get to the point where it's just not sustainable. And then you may get enough to be able to run one cycle, but then you're back down to nothing. So for both accounts, and this is what I'll say for both accounts, I would keep the rank where they are, because it looks like you're even ready to rank this up again, and we're already having issues with just keeping up with 320, the 200, and the 100 forest fibers. I would keep them where they are now, and I would look up on the Reddit the infinite refinery spreadsheet. I would look at it, I would see where you are now, where you're going to want to be, and then, like I've told everyone, you want to build your account around what the refinery needs you to get. And what I mean by that is, when you come into your 3D printer, whatever you need to be able to keep that thing running all the time is what you need to do. Just my personal opinion. So however many characters it takes you to get to 320 mushroom caps an hour, 160 copper, your 200 horns, your 100 forest fibers, and your 32 salt. And they shouldn't be the same level, and they shouldn't even be, close to the same level, because you're not actually going to make enough salt from a rank 4 in order to infinitely run a rank 3. And that's what that spreadsheet's going to help you do. All I'm going to say on that, though, all right, Salt Lick. All right, so as I said, the account on the left, still progressing, still doing a wonderful job. So we might lose account number, or the account on the left here, pretty soon. So I might just run through with everything on the right, because this account has progressed just a little bit more. So as I'm looking at your 3D printer, nothing too big, but you definitely hate to see that you have an active sample that's lower than what's actually being produced. And then you've done the work of unlocking your 2 other slots, so I would go print something. And then just make sure you're doing whatever is best for your account. So if it is, I assume this is your Squire, I would just assume, because that's the one that is mining. This would probably be your Barbarian, because they're the one fishing. This is obviously a Hunter or a Bowman. I would, on a Hunter, go get your samples. On your Bowman, well, actually, early on, I would probably have both of them going to get the bugs, and then having my other classes, like my mages, they'd be doing the wood chopping, Squire obviously mining, Barbarian fishing, and then just going from there. So I would fill out these other 2 samples, because that's just free materials that you're getting. And then I can assume you didn't unlock through the paywall. It is probably one of the only things that are 100% worth it to unlock for your account. But it's the Crystal 3D printer. That way you can print 2 resources at one time. It's huge, but if you can't get it, understood. I'm not going to nitpick it, but that's something you can look at. Okay. So let me look at yours, Salt Lick. Let me look at your 3D printer. Okay. Okay. So your 3D printer is looking pretty good. As I'm looking at it, though, okay, as I'm looking at it, I think it's fantastic. I don't see any fish. Oh, here we go. So we got some bloaches, we got some goldfish going on, which is perfect. I can see you starting to possibly resample, because you're starting to get 19.2Ks. I see a lot of World 4 stuff when we're not able to run our red salts, or orange salts, and or what color is that last one? Blue salts. So the fact that you're going into World 4 is fine, but I would say, possibly put a little bit more love towards the World 1, 2, and 3 samples, just in order to make your refinery continuously refine. Otherwise, you're not going to get the rank ups. You're not going to be able to run it. And then when you start to run into the bottleneck, which is salt production, you're going to come back and you're going to need 1,000 green salts, but you're not able to run the refinery well enough to be able to even make 1 green salt, because as we're looking at it, we're completely out of our mushrooms. We're completely out of our copper, out of the horns, out of the forest fibers, out of the, the sand. So I would focus on these first 3 salts. Get to a point where whatever you're making in the 3D printer is enough to be able to run these bad boys indefinitely. And then I would start to worry about getting, you know, World 4 materials. Just my personal opinion. Obviously, play the game however you want to, brother. Just my personal opinion. Death Notes, I can see they're coming along quite nicely. You're doing a great job of progressing into World 4, which is good. Get those levels up, get that damage up, and then you need to come back into World 1, and then possibly, you know, resample over here. I mean, 100 million kills on green mushrooms, fantastic. Look at possibly getting a base 5 million. You know, get that platinum skull on all of World 1 and then start doing it in World 2. Right now I'm in World 2 and it's made a huge difference. Huge difference. All I'm going to say on that, other than that, I think your guys' accounts are looking good. I don't think account on the left is hit World 4, so I'm going to jump into just account on the right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Love to see it. So you're hitting all the wickets as far as getting 11, so you can unlock the Diamond Chef, which I do believe you already got unlocked, unless I'm mistaken. Perfect. Diamond Chef, and it's level 15. Dude, you're killing it. I love to see it. So, nothing to say about here. I think you're doing the right thing. I would come back. I don't know why that's level 0. You're kind of skipping something. Maybe you do want the points in tower defense, but I would hit this one up. It's going to be faster to make anyways, and then I would just, you know, go down the line as far as getting everything to level 11, and I think you're going to be happier there. This might mean that you haven't unlocked it yet and you just need to, you know, make the item, but really nothing to say about your cooking. I think you're doing a great job, dude. Just, you know, keep it up, and I can't wait to hear in a couple weeks from now, you know, that you're slaying it. So we are hitting this with, okay, so I don't know if this means this guy's just not connected. You are trying to build him up. It looks like a beginner, so I don't know if you, excuse me, I don't know if you just unlocked this guy or what's going on there, but it looks like you're getting all the way to the bottom, and yeah, all the way to the end. You've got the viral connection unlocked, which is great, love it. Yeah. Once you can get to the point where you can have 6 of those guys in there, might be a little bit early just because, you know, you're kind of early on in the whole lab game. Would love to see you take out that 7th guy just so you can have at any time 4 characters playing. Breeding. Okay. And I usually come down. I just like to check that they have beach docks unlocked, which it looks like you do. And 87 foraging speed is nothing to laugh at. I think your foraging speed is actually fantastic. And a lot of these are actually higher than mine. I really just look at beach docks, which I got up to, you know, 200, 300,000, just because I want more spice to be able to level up Diamond Chef. But I think you're absolutely slaying it, dude. I love your breeding section. It looks really good. And then let me look at the players real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7th character, one of the ones that aren't doing anything, and it looks like the Barbarian's not doing anything either. So I would ask, you know, what's your J-Man and what's your Barbarian doing? You don't want them to be doing nothing. I mean, killing green mushrooms and just collecting spore caps so you can run your refinery, your red salts, it's better than doing nothing. So my big thing here, as I'm looking at it, on what I would do, is what are these 2 doing? They can be doing something, right? Something's better than nothing. And then we're going to come over here to Athahaha. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've unlocked all 10 of your character slots, which is good. This is still a beginner at level 45. I see you have 2 Buboes, you have your Maestro, you have your Siege Breaker, Blood Berserker. Okay. So, you got 2 Blood Berserkers. So that means this last character is going to become a what? I would assume it's going to become another Siege Breaker, just because you only have 1 Siege Breaker, 1 Hunter, and you have 2 of the subclasses for the other one. So you have 3 Warriors, 3 Mages, your Maestro, and then you only have 2 of the Archer class. So I would assume that this is going to, in some sort of fashion, become a Siege Breaker, which would be great. Don't know why you're holding it off, though. Rank 45, you could easily pull this guy out of a lab, get him all the way down to the World 2 upgrade, and get him to at least a Bowman. And then you could use this character to start collecting more of the bugs. So I would I would wonder what this character is doing at level 45 and not having, you know, his class advancements. So all I'm going to say on that, I think these are both fantastic accounts. Just those couple things that I pointed out are the only things I would fix. But I think both you brothers have great accounts. I'd love to hear, you know, a week, 2 weeks from now, hopefully these tips did help you. And then just follow up with me and let me know how it turned out. If you need any more advice, always feel free to drop into the PalmerPlays Discord. Let me know what's going on. I'd love to help you. But that's going to be all from me, brothers. Got to save my voice for a couple more meetings today. Was just going to do this over my lunch break. So, again, hopefully this helped you, and I'll catch you in the next one.